heard your decapitation went well down there in Tennessee.
You said you were going to spoof me going into this. I had no idea what to expect.
Boom! You go.
That's amazing.
I don't want to tell you why the costume's up in the bedroom. Oh, holy fuck.
Oh my God, that's great.
Welcome to the after party.
Where's the after party?
Oh, holy shit. Party is in the word for a reason. We got rope-a-doped into this show. And since I was like, well, it's going to be me and the backwoods butcher, I might as well throw some fucking bowl of barnyard humor in there.
Careful.
Yeah, if we swear in the first minute, we get demonetized. We're going to get less than zero. Do they just take money out of your fucking pocket if you're getting demonetized and you don't make any money?
Dude, when it comes to monetization, it's an overall goal to figure out how to like get that. But I also look at it where I'm just like, they want to take down half of my stuff regardless. Just on what it is, they want to take it down immediately.
Ridiculous. Oh, so you get hassled because the PETA people probably report every video, right?
It's violence. On my
it is. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
we got you now. You're sounding way more clear. And
I think my phone just was not up to the test today.
Your face froze at the perfect. We were trying to go live with it on the screen, but it wouldn't stay. Oh, go back and watch the 5-second beginning. The bull came out to give Kyle some hassle. There was rumor there were some animals dispatched at SRF. We were getting to it.
Yeah, well, I was feeling bad because I'm like, we got to have a real Unloose the Goose episode where we talk about counter economics and all that stuff. And
yes.
And then I'm like, never mind, I'm out.
Yeah.
Oh, so SRF, even though everybody's pretty much into all the crypto, it's pretty much like silly when you can just hand dollars around in a circle. Is that what you kind of saw this year?
What do you mean?
Just easier to just do business in cash.
Here's the thing when I think about counter economics. Like, I think cryptocurrency is great, and it's a great way to do business with each other, and it's a way to be your own bank and all of those things that are good about cryptocurrency. It's like power to the people. Right. But at a festival like that, cash is super easy. And I also see that when you're supporting people in the network, we're already doing what we keep talking about we need to build.
Right.
And that's kind of why I was like, we need to talk about this because, 3 years ago when we were doing Unloose the Goose, we're like, we got to be this counter economy and we got to blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, okay, it was already in existence and already functioning then, and it's stronger now.
Right.
That's it's interesting because you two are going to have the SRF spin. I did my pilgrimage to go see fish, intentionally thinking about
we heard about it.
But I had a conversation with somebody about the same thing, but not from the prepper spin point, but of layers of organization in the world that are already operating all around you, and you just can't see it because it's not lit up. It doesn't glow. The lines between the people aren't like they are on a chart.
Right.
So it is going on. Like I was trying to tell somebody at the show about all the multiple scenes that were going on down on the floor and the interactions that were no, this is all like the sub level of groups. You don't even like the sober fish heads have their whole society here, as do the like bikini titty girl up front's crew. They're all like a huge like the people like all is functioning, and unless you even know to look, don't even know it's there.
Right. It's the forest through the trees is what you're talking about.
It's a level.
Well, and do we really need to point it out? That's the thing. No. Like the whole point is this should be a system that empowers us, not something we have to think about every day.
It's to the new people, you have to point the way that it's there. Like when you open your eyes the right level, you'll see it. Then they at least know there's a thing to look for.
Yes. Well, so what does the on-ramp look like for somebody who doesn't know what in the world we're talking about?
Well, it's funny because also, like you talk about how there is like all of these people in crypto. Brian is doing his damnedest to get me into crypto. Like,
Which one?
I don't.
Which you should
I don't-
totally be in crypto.
I know. I should. I don't understand at all.
For the right
Like,
reasons,
it's-
at the right
But
speed.
we always
or you
joke
get in
about it
trouble.
because I barter for probably 60 to 70% of my big ticket items that we deal with on the farm or with the house and stuff like that. Like with buying firewood this year, cut up 2 cows for somebody, like work on the tractor, do a pig for somebody. Or it's like,
I would highly
I'm reverting
advise you to
backwards when
test
Brian's sitting here trying to hammer me
stores.
and be like, you need this coin and this, and you need to figure this out. And I'm like, I'm still dealing in pigs.
But
So
tell
you're
us-
going to have to give me a break. Give me some time to get there.
I'll just say
So
for-
this is the thing. You
Be
remember when everybody was talking about using Nostr,
Yeah.
and we all put off getting on Nostr because it seemed hard?
And it was super easy.
That's how cryptocurrency, that's how Bitcoin is.
Yeah.
Like literally it's that easy. You're talking about 15 minutes with somebody like Brian or with Brian Lotz or Brian Norton or whoever
Yeah.
to
No,
get you on ramp to using it, and then you do your first transaction, you're like, oh, this was easier than using my debit card at Kroger's.
Yeah.
which is a good and a bad, because if you use your debit card wrong at Kroger's, there's some stuff that can happen to like make you whole again. If you use your debit card wrong in this universe,
It's
You lost it.
you know what? You know what happened today in our circle?
No.
My @scrambling on Telegram has been replicated somehow. Has a blue.
Oh
star.
yeah, is that I said it? Was that screenshot fake you?
That's fake me, and that fake person has already stolen $5,000 from somebody in our network.
What? How?
Because the fake me asked them for a favor, and they believed it was me, and they complied immediately, and gone $5,000. Never.
Shoot.
that is crazy.
And they called me on the telephone to ask why I needed another $5,000. And I said, holy shit, do you think I'm like being held at gunpoint, or I've just murdered somebody and I'm rolling to Mexico? Like, what's going on? And she's like, you mean you're not buying Bitcoin miners? I'm like, what the I hate all that shit. But no. And now I'm even more.
Oh man, I'm going to have so much fun with fake you later.
Oh, yeah. So, okay. So the question is, fake
So
me.
I need some.
If we could fake me is probably not watching this. So if we could crowdsource anybody, fake me is still reaching out to people trying to scam our community. Is there a way to feed fake me a poison pill in the form? I mean, I'll send them $10 in Bitcoin if we can send it with a bomb on the other end. So is there a way to send a tracker or
If there's a way to do that, I wouldn't necessarily talk about it here.
No, not here.
Probably not.
But I think that's an excellent question to be asking. Like, can you locate who they are?
That is a
Right.
great
Can we send them
hypothetical
a
question.
surprise?
Mhm.
If we, because they're still working.
Man, I can't sell you Bitcoin, but I can send you Amazon cards. Where do I mail them?
Right. That was what. Yeah. I took care of a problem another way, that exact way, a while back.
Mm-hmm.
Once they got a picture of their mom's front door, they were a little more compliant.
Are we going to be called to court for this podcast?
No, I'm not. I'm not suggesting anything, and I'm not doing anything. I was just,
These are all hypothetical.
I'm just telling you hypothetical stories of ways I might have handled a thing.
Once you get the address, what you do with it is you report it to the proper officials because they have defrauded somebody for $5,000. Obviously.
Oh yeah, she's already on that, but that's FBI, and they don't give a fuck because they could literally trace that IP 5 seconds because he's active right now, but don't care because it's not a bank. They're not, not protecting a banker, so why bother?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's so anyway. Yeah, it's all
somebody else. The other thing you could do, and you'd probably get a Google Voice number or something, is be like, "Hey, can we talk about this on the phone? Talk me through it."
Yeah.
Get their phone number.
Well, then
see if you can link that to anything.
They'll
a couple of people are trying to get that now.
Yeah.
So if he reaches out, if @scrambling without a G, reaches out to you on Telegram, any human.
So yours has a G and his does not.
No, they both have G's. He has no phone number.
Oh.
He bought the Blue Star, so he's got a Blue Star paid account. So he's paid on a Visa card Telegram money. You could subpoena
Is this
that.
a targeted thing? Like, why you?
I don't know. Maybe like, because I don't know. Because I might ask for money if I needed something, but I wouldn't ask for it that way. And you would know why.
I know. That's. I mean,
And
like
you
he
can ask
reached.
me any question that would be like between us. And
Yeah,
you,
fake you reached out to me at 12:24 today and asked me if I was busy, and I was busy, in fact, at 12:24 today.
see, it's going around. Yeah,
I ignored you completely.
good, because nothing is time. If I like actually need a thing from you, like money, I will call you on the phone and we'll talk. But I would never do that. But
Well,
you
and I mean, I had seen you post about fake you everywhere today
as soon as
already.
while she was still on the phone with her, I was like, stop, we got to stop. And I stopped 2 other people already who were like, whoa, geez, I was going to click. I was like, don't, I'm not kidding. Don't,
Right.
it's fake me. Yeah. The fake me has a paid star. I would.
Yeah. Okay.
If you know me, you know I'm too cheap to pay for any service.
Yeah,
That would
somebody
be the
cloned
first
me. They're saying here in the comments somebody cloned Toolman Tim. Somebody cloned me a while back, but the username was not. I don't understand how they have your same username.
Right, because I've used it, and Telegram's trying to sell me right now a star. So could I also be the star of me? So I have a ticket in for Telegram, but they're going to get back to me in the next 24 hours.
So a star somehow makes it so you can have somebody else's username.
I don't know. It's a paid account, but
Yeah, but it shouldn't.
paid
I didn't think you could replicate the same
pay
username.
to be
I
someone
didn't
else.
think so either. That none of it makes sense. But somebody paid on a credit card to Telegram, and a credit card has an address.
So for me, the way they did it is the username they used the L in my name with an uppercase I,
Just a tiny bit off. Yeah.
and you couldn't tell the difference on the screen. You literally can't. I'm wondering if your L is an I in their username.
That would make sense.
Oh, because I have an L in my name. I didn't even think about that. Holy shit.
Toolman Tim does too.
Yeah.
Now I gotta go look at it.
Good luck stealing mine, folks.
Yeah. Okay, all usernames with no I's.
With no L's.
Or with no L's. Oh,
that's crazy. Again, come try to steal my pigs.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't they stole the trust that I had built with people. That's why I freaked out and made that YouTube video and sent it around too. Like, hey, people, like, be stupid careful. Like,
right.
Man, if somebody's asking you for money online and it's not something you'd roll down your window and just literally throw out as you drove by.
Well, the other thing is you better talk to me in person.
Oh, if you're asking me for money, you better
I don't ask about $5,000 in text.
Oh, dude, I don't even. I've that much money out of it in decades.
If you're asking me for $200, you better be in front of me or on the phone on your way in front of me to ask. Like in that situation, 5,000. That's Yeah.
That's the problem with shit being all digits, right? You lose track of the reality of the situation.
It's just numbers. Like
that's when I would drive the Amazon kids around downtown Seattle in the Uber, and they like literally were in Mozambique in a box last week, and now they're in a $1 million apartment in Seattle, and they're getting paid more in a week than their family will make in a lifetime. Like, and they never see the money because they don't go to it's just ever digits for them. It's never anything other than digits. It's an Atari game. That's all it is. It's the weirdest thing to be around people like that. The weirdest thing, because our reality is just like, oh, that's 5,000 francs. Just the disconnect is unreal. That was the whole thing about Jack in cities today, right? That exists in cities and can be mined.
Right?
Can you mine it ethically? Hey, back to the counter economy.
Well, I mean, really, like the cool thing about Unloose the Goose is we were like, okay, we need medical care. How do we solve that? And what I know after doing Self-Reliance Festival for 3 years, now we did our 6th one a week ago, is that the trend in the last 12 months has been at these events, people asking that question and me asking doctors and nurses and herbalists and whoever's medical to raise their hand, and they do. And I'm like, there it is right there. Those are your people. And as a result of that, I think in particular in the medical profession, people are hesitant to go like bold-faced in front of you saying, this is our counter economic organization of doctors. But if you make relationships with those people in person at all these events, because there's like events have sprung up everywhere in the last year or so.
Right.
That's the person that can refer you to like they're quietly talking to each other. And if things really, go further south in the medical world, they're ready to step up. They're already stepping up. They risk losing their license based on what they say.
Right.
And they're operating in that gray zone between two worlds right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
my wife's an ICU nurse. Like, I get it.
It's so psychedelics are going through that same thing right now too, right? Like every other ad I get online is for psychedelic psychotherapy professionals to get certified in a thing that's not legal yet, because they're also at the same time paying the politicians to make it legal. So it will be, but it will only be through white lab coat people.
Yeah.
So it's already setting up the system to capture the patients and extract as much money as they can from them.
Yeah.
Instead of making sure the maximal amount of people are helped at the maximum utility is served nationally, right? No.
Right.
How can we funnel it, trap it,
control it,
and milk it, not help anyone? They are just as happy if a tenth the people get help that need it, if they get all the money.
Yeah.
So understand that there's a whole revolution of psychotherapy that's out there that doesn't involve doctors at all.
Yeah.
A lot of people get on airplanes and go to Peru. There's a center being set up by Terrence McKenna's brother, where they have worked out an amnesty with the government for their territory to be, free land, I guess, for people to go and get healed without like fear of like roping in special troops and getting shot in the head. And there's some like Indians that are doing ceremonies on tribal lands because they are another nation, and you can do those things safely there. And part of that whole therapy is you have to be safe. You have to be in a safe spot where you don't feel like nothing would ever happen to you. No one ever going to bust in the door, put a gun to your head, or it won't work. Right. So you could pay, $20,000 to some lab coat motherfuckers to get like safety and guarantees of non-intervention in their little lab setting. That good luck getting fucking comfy there.
Yeah.
Or make safety for everybody.
That's that's my career too, though. It's like the state has taken so much power away from just farmers and people raising their own meat and stuff like that, to where it's like, again, if you want to make money off of selling your animal, you have to go to a USDA facility to be able to sell something that you've raised from day one. You've seen everything that's gone into it. It's gone well, like everything is healthy with it. Your neighbor, who has also seen this cow every single day, who wants to buy it for meat, it has to go through this whole federal system to make sure it's safe for this, that, and the other thing. And it's absolutely insane. And that's where there's outliers like me that it's
can do it, but you
there's ways to do it.
Right. It's just so ridiculous that any other human would step in front of another human and say, you can't do that to feed your family. Like, who the fuck made you in charge?
Well, so the more ridiculous stuff like that happens, though, the more people just start doing it, because they're like, they're thinking, we can't possibly comply with this anymore. We've tried. And more layers of regulation comes in. That's why the Food Safety Modernization Act is not working. You cannot comply. So then you're like, okay, well, I want nutritious food. It's up to me to get nutritious food. I will figure it out myself. Fine.
And it's so funny because at all the prepper stuff forever, right? Everybody's freaking out about without rule of law. How many plate carriers should we get? Should we get more diesel trucks? Like, fuck, you're already in WROL on the West Coast. It's right here. You don't have to stop for the cops if you don't want to anymore. You put your foot down, they ain't chasing you. It's boom, you're gone. 60, no chase. You can walk out of a new store with $1,000 worth of shit. Like, what are you guys afraid of? We're here. It's right now. Nobody's shooting each other in the street. Like, literally, you can shoot the bad guys now. They won't fucking prosecute you. They won't even make the news anymore. It's a daily thing out here. So
I keep telling people SRDHTF, and a lot of people don't realize it.
I started saying it about a year ago, but really, it's here. It's just a slow enough burn that nobody's really that freaked out about it. Because, I mean, 90% of the population lives within 100 miles of the coast. So 90% of the population in the U.S. is already in without rule of law. I mean, the farmers still are like obeying the speed limit and shit, I guess, maybe. But everywhere else, fuck. It reminds me of traveling down in like Central America back in the 90s. Like, you only slowed down if there was a cop standing in the intersection. Like that, no cop, no stop was the rule. The rule.
Right. Yeah, but like up here, we got none of it. Like down in the southern part of the state, you start to see a little more central part, but like up where we are,
they protect the banking money. That's it.
Yeah.
Wall around the politicians and the bankers.
Oh, dude, I live in a town of 1,200 people. Like, I'm like,
right. Yeah, so when we're seeing the agora, the market as it is, when you finally open up your eyes and see the market, right? When you can see the security state, same thing. They got the problem of running 10 restaurants, hubs, spokes, distribution, support, franchises, can't get how effective do you think they are right now, right? And who's their number fucking one? Don't let the city hall fall. Protect the mayor and fuck that richest banker dude. Don't let his out. Our mayor moved out of this town.
Yeah.
Off of the country club golf course to get out of the town because it's too dangerous for him to live in this town anymore. Even though you can't be mayor if you're not in the town.
Can't is an interesting word.
Yeah.
Well, the law says on the paper that you're not legally allowed to be mayor if you don't reside in the town. But WROL already here.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah, and yes, I'm on the West Coast, Rachel. That's why the sun's still up.
Yeah. Oh, I left that one on. Oh, yeah. She's.
Yeah. I was like, yeah. So I'm not going into details right now, but I have a family member who's really sick, and so I'm here for that reason. And the reason I'm not going into detail, even though I usually do share these things on my podcast, is I don't know enough information right now. But I got my rear end here, so.
Yellow light would be great. Just focus.
It's been dark here for 2 hours.
I'm getting vitamin D right now. And on the West Coast, when the sun goes down like this, it's like it goes down for a long time and it gets hotter and hotter.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's different on the East Coast. It's like it cools down. Yeah, no, it's just like. Thanks, Pippinized.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just jumping on for half an hour, guys, because I got to go back in at 5:30. So.
Yeah. No,
so you know.
We spun us up. We'll keep talking Agora and underground networks.
Well, I think it's, I was really struck by it. This SRF was a little different than anyone has been. And Kyle doesn't know because
I love that rocket.
That was his first one.
I was so overwhelmed with it as it is. I wouldn't even know if it was different from the year before.
Yeah.
Toolman.
Oh, Toolman Tim can tell us. Yeah, it was different. Toolman Tim, how was SRF different than last time you were there?
A little more polished, that's for sure. And let's jump right into the fire. I would say the big thing was, you know what I love, and we talked about this before, but I mean, I went to 5 events and, basically 5 events in 5 weeks, and every place has its kind of people. I was like, oh, Brian's pointing at me, Harry. And I think this was the only one where everybody from both sides, you know what I mean? I don't like to use left and right, but conservative and liberal, or homesteading and prepping. How about that? And just absolutely love the anarchist mindset, I guess, is what I really enjoy. But yeah, it was definitely, I don't know, a little more chill. Maybe the rain put a bit of a damper on it, but it was perfect. Like it was the best event I've been to. Well, I want to say all year, but I was also at Nicole's spring workshop, so there's that. But
Yeah, I think we do get lefties and righties, and we get in the middleies, and we do have a lot of homesteader and prepper mix, and that is a little different. That's why it's always hard for me to explain the festival to people. I'm like, you just gotta go.
I mean, there was, you saw certain people walking around with, boomsticks, and then at the same time you could smell a skunk
Other
somewhere
things.
else, right? So it was like
the campfire crew.
Yeah, so I loved it. Like it is, yeah. And I had some cool conversations with people outside of, I mean, just outside of my community, I guess. People that you would, we had some really good, deep conversations about kind of the anarcho beliefs, and it was really neat to talk. There was a young guy, I say young, younger than me anyway, and we had a long talk about that, and it was cool because we came together in the middle as opposed to standing on both sides and fighting at each other. So I enjoyed that.
What was the young guy asking you? What was he interested in? That's what we're getting at, is where do they start? What do they?
Was that Jennifer's son?
No, he was, honestly, I say young. He was probably late 20s or early 30s.
Okay.
So, yeah. Young guy. You're 35, you're a young guy.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, yeah.
31.
So,
let's go.
Yeah, I think what it was that one thing I've learned, I listened to a lot of debates and things, and one of the big things is to admit when you don't know. It's okay to say, I don't know the answers to everything, because it was kind of that, well, what about my roads? Or what about this? Or what about healthcare? What about, and when it came down to it, I was like, dude, I need to tell you, I don't have the answer to absolutely everything. But what I do know is what we're doing right now ain't working. And I'd love to have a kick at the can for our side of things. And he accepted that. It was kind of cool.
Yeah. Don't let the people who cause the problem tell you they're the ones that are get you out of it.
Exactly. Because they're just going to, they're good at continuing to shovel.
Yeah.
They've never put the shovel down in their life. That's the one thing they can do is keep digging a bigger hole.
Because I've had that conversation with people too. Like, what about the roads? And I was like, have you ever seen a guy paving a road with a government badge? It's not. No. It's my buddy Marty, who like they get contracted by the state, who gets federal loans from the government. Like,
use your Google foo on the YouTube
like,
machine. Who will build the roads? Scrambling. Type it in. Watch that video. Me and a pickaxe.
Yeah.
And a grater and a rope that I pull by hand.
I mean, they built roads before the government was building roads.
Sure, they did.
It's it's the people that are scared of the convenience to go away.
You know,
because there's no conversation that involves any of this that it goes like that's not involved with you're gonna be doing more work because you're gonna be more self-sustaining with what you're doing. Like, this isn't a free thing. Like, free isn't free.
Like, neighbors always
it's all about what you put into it.
Hookups between the neighbor houses, right? That's your last mile, your spokes. But who built the roads through all of time? The merchants built the roads because they need you to come to their motherfucking store. So they built the road. It's a come bet for a merchant. And they have to get supplies, right? So who, like, hello, commodity distributors and merchants build roads. Just stay the fuck out of the way. That's all. Easy, done. Next problem. Seriously, it's when everybody tries to make shit so hard. It's really not that hard. Let the most logical person do the thing.
I wish I could remember more of the conversation because it was a good one, but there were so many conversations. It was just really nice because it wasn't anti, free choice or anything along those lines. It was just coming at it from a different perspective. And by the end of the 2.5 days or whatever, there was so many interesting and important conversations that will get lost in the ether at some point. So there's that.
Yeah. It's the follow-up afterwards. You're like, man, I got a lot of follow-up to do. And then stuff happened in my life. And I'm like, and now I'm behind on the follow-up.
I feel like I'm still recovering. Like, I feel like I'm still recovering from all of the conversations I had and just the number of them. Like, it shocked me.
I don't know. I have followed up with shit ton of people. I've got 3 notes in my book. Follow up from Midwest Preparedness, follow up from Prepper Camp, and follow up from Self-Reliance Festival. And I've been working through them. And I probably reached out to a dozen yesterday for interviews and that sort of thing. But it's tough. If you don't write it down, it's gone. That's one thing.
You keep a little book forever, or you rip out the pages and.
Nah, when I say book, I really meant notepad.
I use index cards. I carry around stacks of them.
I honestly thought about next year just having a notepad with a pen, and when I get into a conversation that's going to be like, okay, something's going to happen from this, just handing it to them and go, name, phone number, username, because I'll spell it wrong. So please write it down for me, and we'll get this all figured out.
Yep. No, I tell people to reach out to me, and several have. And one today, I was like, listen, I need to you now not reach out to me until November 7th.
Right.
And I said why. And they're like, oh, okay, no problem.
Right.
That's so much follow-up. Do it quick, but all right. But
and the faster you can get it done, the better. Like, because then it's fresh in your mind. You know why. Like we had somebody who lost 153 pounds between last year and this year, and I didn't realize she was she. Like I talked to her at both SRFs. I talked to her and didn't know she was the same person until I saw her post a before and after picture after SRF, and I'm like, man. We got to have a talk about this because that's an amazing transformation, and you work hard.
That needs to be a speaker. Holy talk.
Yeah.
Holy, that's a story.
Yeah.
Did she Dr. Barry or? Well, give us a mini blurb on the story. What did she follow?
I mean, I don't know if she went proper human diet or not. I haven't talked to her, but she decided she was at SRF in a I think a drivey wheelchair thing, like the scooter. Right. She said she would get winded just walking to the bathroom and back. And she left SRF and decided to change and started walking and changed what she was eating. Awesome. And this SRF totally like 153 pounds lighter, able to walk, from the parking lot up to the no problem to the festival. And just her whole life has changed because of that.
Sure. Nice.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Hey, Pip's got an idea for all the folks for the spring. Bring business cards.
That is smart.
Put a QR on there, whatever, or leave the back blank so that you can write whatever you want them to know and stick it in their pocket.
Well, I need to order new business cards anyway, just for I'm out. So I think what I'm going to do this time is.
Well, we may have a system set up where we help people connect. I almost had it in place for this one, so we'll see.
Right.
Where same thing, where you can set up your profile and connect and be like, okay, swipe the QR code for your person and follow up after it and write notes. They have systems for that. It's just I didn't find one at the right price point before SRF.
It's a festival, stumbling around in the dark, bumping into people, like exchanging physical goods. Bring stickers, bring patches.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
That's what I was
pointing at.
That's why I was dying, because he's sitting there just going.
Oh wait!
Guys,
I was the bully when he came on, so I guess I didn't mess with it. To be fair,
you got in and we're like, Tim, here's a question for about 10 minutes into a podcast, and go.
It happens. And it has been a hell of a. I got back Friday night finally, and so what are we? Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 4 days, and I've either been running Charlotte to volleyball or taking care of property management fires since I got back. So
your recap was awesome, though. Today was that first version 1 today, or whatever.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm trying something totally different. We'll see where that ends up, but
blow up.
I've got enough content for 8 15 to 20 minute episodes of what we've done on the property. So
cool.
Should stretch me out until February or March, which in theory I'm going to be back down there in February, and I'll have more content. So we'll see where it ends up.
Perfect.
Okay, guys, I gotta scoot back in there.
All right, Nicole.
Bye.
Have a good night.
All goes well.
You too.
Yeah. That bridge is great.
That bridge is fucking awesome. Yeah. Anyway, it's awesome.
I heard the engineering story of it earlier.
It's fine.
Tell it on a different pod. When you got back, did you tell it on that one? It got it expanded way past what you were thinking.
Yeah, it was. Well, yeah, and I think maybe it was with Brian. I can't remember for sure.
Because you're like, I'm not walking over that. Like,
Yeah, well, it was what it
You're
was.
thinking
It's cool. It's there's a little stream, or you can't even call it a stream. It's like a spring that comes up out of the ground, and then it kind of comes out of the ground under the ground. And there was a land bridge where this tree's roots had kind of grown, and then over time shit had kind of built in, but it was like a 3-foot U, so you would have to like jump down. It was a twisted ankle or a busted knee waiting to happen,
especially carrying lumber.
Oh my God. I took the footing blocks, the 4x4 cement. Yeah. So I would walk them, I'd put them on my shoulder, and I'd walk it down to the creek, and then I would throw them over the creek. Brian sees them over there, and he's like, dude, you couldn't have organized them? And I'm like, I threw them across the creek. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, you're fucking crazy. Whatever. It was fun. So.
Yeah,
that's a Canadian winter sport.
Canadian inner spark.
We got what do you call it? An inch of snow here this morning.
Oh,
I call that wrong.
Yeah, trust me. I was ready to head back south this morning. Yeah, anyway, but
that just made me sad.
Yeah, it was.
It's coming. I know it is.
Coming your way. Yeah. Tim gets it. He's just warning the alarm bell for you.
But you know what? I sold my snow business, so I get to sit at home, and I got this oversized novelty mug. It's as big as it looks. I filled it full of coffee this morning. I sat down here, worked on videos, and drank coffee while the guys that bought my business had to go around and clear snow. So that was awesome.
So they're off to a good start. Is it an early first cleanup, or?
Yeah, we will typically in October. You'll usually get 1 or 2 dustings late in the month, but they don't normally stick like this one did. Like normally, it would be a little warmer and it would melt. Basically as soon as the sun came up, it would melt. But this didn't. It needed to be blown off. So
good cash flow for the boys.
Yeah, they can have it. I'm good. I'm
I know. I'm walking around my property and I'm still at the end or just in fall mode of like, all right, I need to get everything that's outside inside because it's kids' toys, tools, all of it's just
kids' toys
everywhere. Over a 14-acre property between the farm and the shop. It's just like
they'll be old enough in the spring they won't want that toy anymore.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't want to run over it. I don't want to like just dealing with all that.
And if it's down there, once the snow flies, it's there all winter.
Yep.
And then it's a tripping hazard or it gets run over by the snowblower or the tractor, one or the other.
Well, I literally stood outside for about 10 minutes today and just smoked a cigarette and looked at all my paddocks and how I have everything set up and where everything is at the moment and where I need to migrate things in so they're closer to the house. So I'm not running hoses too long. I'm not running extension cords too long for heaters. Like, where is it going to be the most effective? And just sitting there, and it reminds me of that, what was it, Rush Hour, the game where you move the cars around the board to get the certain car off the board.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It feels like that because it's like you look at it and it's like, all right, well, if I put this pig here, I don't need to do much maintenance with her. She'll be fine out there. I can run an extension cord. But these are going in the cooler in December, so I should probably have them closer so I could get them in the kill pen. This, that, it's like, oh yeah, I decided to do this. Like I chose to do this.
I get it. A good buddy of mine always used to say, you got to make a mess to fix a mess.
Oh, for sure.
And that's what it is. You do. I mean, it's the only way to get good organization is to tear the whole thing down and start over, or at least, pull it all out and stack it back in.
Yeah. But so now I have those moments where it's like, I look at it all and I'm like, oh no, I actually did this right. Like for once, like I finally learned and I spent the money, I invested the time, and I did it in a way that now I can utilize this space to its fullest potential. And it's not chaos. It's like just controlled of like, oh, all I have to do is open these 2 gates and we're good to go. Look at that. Perfect. Not, I need to get my buddy's trailer here and it's going to get stuck in the mud. And then he's going to back into something and I got to fix that now. It's 2 gates. Look at that.
So you've got it. What you can say. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. My mic cut out for a second. Yeah. Sorry about that. So you've got things organized so that you're not super stressed about the change in seasons then, man.
No. Yeah. No, actually figured it out this year. So I'm like, oh, all right. If all I have to worry about is picking up toys and stuff in the yard, I'm fine with that. That's fine.
Don't fight the flow.
Yeah.
Early.
It sounds like permaculture principles you put into it.
Trying.
100%. Tim,
like
so
that.
are you 100% going to get to work on creative stuff now, just nonstop?
I would say 80%. It's
Okay.
my full-time gig, other than, so, I mean, yes, no, maybe, you know how it is. But
Yeah.
so here's where, you know, the big thrust is gone, that part. I still have 26 rentals I look after, but which some people hear that and they're like, holy shit, no, that's really not. You know, 1 or 2 a month come up available for rent. So you find somebody to rent it. Most everything gets subbed out. So like the other day we had a hot water issue, or like it's hot water heat in the 12 unit. Couldn't figure, I went in, I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. It's not getting hot. So in comes the plumber, and it was a zone valve, something that I wasn't about to frig with. Now today I get a call, the same place, same unit. Now it's 30 degrees Celsius in their apartment, which would be like, what's the hottest you could make?
It's like 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I go over and it's fucking hot in there. They've got the door open, and I'm like, of course I'm thinking the plumber, right? No, the damn thermostat went this time. So I replaced the thermostat. I had to but that was 10 minutes work. That was
quick and easy.
But like today I did a thermostat. I did a storm door latch. I hauled out. So we evicted a guy, and it looks like his kitchen sink was leaking for the past 3 months. Never told anybody, of course. So I go in there, and the lady's like, hey, you know, the lady moved right in. We did an inspection, but I guess they never opened the cupboards or whatever. And she's like, there's a bit of a mess under there. I'm like, oh, it was rotten and stinky. I was like, oh no. So I'm like, well, I'll fix the leak. I go to cut into it, and I'm like, oh shit. It was flexible copper. They used to put, it's like, it looks like 1/2 inch, but it's flexible, but it's copper.
Is that for running gas line?
It's like gas line or like fuel line, but they used to plumb mobile homes with it in the 70s and 80s. So I just stepped away. I'm like, okay, we're going to put a fan under here. We're going to let it dry, put a cup under it, and I'm going to get a plumber in here who can handle that flexible copper, because I don't have any of the tools for that. And if I cut into it and fuck it up, then you guys will have no water. So let's just, back away, Tim.
Right. Gotta know when to say when.
And then I showed 2 rentals tonight just before I come on here. So hopefully they get rented and we'll be at 100% capacity.
Oh yeah, you stepped way back.
Yeah, I know. Okay. But this is because I just came back from a 38-day road trip.
Right. Cleaned up.
But you know, Becky just got approval from the city today. Finally, that's the final step for the daycare out of town.
Awesome! Congratulations, Becky.
And yes, I'll tell her too. But yeah,
that's great.
What do we got? So it's almost turnkey. We bought, or sorry, didn't buy. We signed a lease for an old accountant's office, which was basically ready to go. It had a metric shit ton of bathrooms. It had individual rooms. The offices were big enough to make rooms. And then the main area is the play area. So we just need to hang decals and a few other things.
Perfect.
Ooh, yeah, that's awesome. You're working pretty good on the lease.
Yeah, I think she did. She, you know what? She signed a 5-year lease and paid a significant portion up front to make sure that we would get a good price. Right. Kind of, yeah. So
hey, anybody in commercial real estate getting a little up front right now is going to be super happy with you.
Yeah. And this was I tell Becky she's a bulldog, and I mean that in the right way, because she just doesn't stop. But this was building number 4. So we announced the idea 6 months ago at LFTN, and we went through 4 buildings that we had conditional acceptances on that fell through. And this was number 4. So you got to be persistent or you won't get it done.
Right. That's awesome.
Persistent and willing not to do the bad deals.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Be willing. Oh, Brian knows this, but when you negotiate from a place of strength and you're willing to walk the fuck away at a moment's notice, you have all the power in the world, no matter whether you have as much money or not as the person you're dealing with. Because if you're willing to walk away, you have let's put it this way, you have a lot of the power in the negotiation at that point.
Right.
But I'm so proud of her. She's got the last few inspections booked today, but we're good.
Awesome.
Ooh,
nice.
Onward.
But other than that, yes, I would say 75% content now, which is cool. I love
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah. I just have to keep myself personally motivated. So that it's not a bad thing. It's just go, right?
Do you mind sharing the lumber cost on your cool little 8x8? Do you know the breakdown on that particular? Because you sent it all probably at once for both.
I did. So this one, not 100%. I'm working on the next one.
I love the door, the window, the single line roof was all like beautiful. And the porch was bonus because backpackers could put their shit on the porch.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what? So one thing
I want to replicate those.
I'll talk about in the videos I'm going to do. But so the cool thing about it being a single, like this, guess what? Just mirror that. And now all of a sudden you build another 8x8 and you have a peaked roof 8x16. So, and then guess what you can do from there? Double it again. Now all of a sudden I have a 16x16 cabin with 16 feet of deck on front and back.
Oh, because you go out the sidewalls, the next one. Go out the back, then go out the sides.
Exactly. Yeah. So I know I can't, but so you basically, you got one like this, right?
Yeah.
And then you're going to do the next one like this, and then the next one here and here.
So a square becomes a rectangle.
Exactly. Yeah.
Tiny rectangle, square.
Yep. So you basically, you basically have 4 8x8 squares all in one big square at that point.
Right.
And but you've got the deck, so then it's the extra 4x8 deck on the front. So yeah.
Oh yeah, deck on the front. Yeah, deck across the front.
So we spent some time to plan it, and the main deck where it is now will be for drinking bourbon and watching the sunset, and the other deck will be coffee and watching the sunrise.
Perfect.
So yeah.
No, that's awesome. I can't wait to actually get down there and see it.
Oh man, it's pretty cool. I'm excited. So I bought the metal roofing. We got a big deal on, because for anybody that's out there, go into any hardware store, building supply, and say, hey, do you have any leftover metal roofing? Because what happens is either somebody orders it, doesn't pay for it, or actually much more likely, the guy who ordered it, like me, when I used to order shit from when I worked at building supply places, you'd fuck it up, and then you'd end up having to take the cost, because metal roofing companies won't ever take it back. So what ends up happening is you'll have a pallet of roofing sitting in the back of the building supply yard that's been there for 4 years, that the dude that works in the yard trips over every friggin' minute. So they'll give you a good deal on it as long as you can work with non-specific lengths, right?
Whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So we bought a bunch of Galvalume for pretty cheap. The door was I think honestly, the door and window was about $400 for the door and window.
Okay, so you got like kind of real stuff. But
I could have went way cheaper, but we were crunched for time, so we just kind of went into I made friends at the local hardware store already, which was cool.
Naturally.
Because that's what you do, right?
Yeah.
And I go in and they're like, oh, the fucking Canadian again. I'm like, all right, that makes me happy. So
is there a bed that's like a fold down bunk, or is it all permanent?
There will be a fold down bunk. So it's basically just empty in there right now.
Okay.
So my first thing to do is, when I get back down, is to just build a platform for a single bed. I'm going to bring I got a bedroll. So we have a storage locker down there now too, that we keep stuff in, but I got a bedroll in there now, but I'm probably going to bring a decent mattress with me, just so, but yeah. So, but then.
Oh, like storage under platform for sleeping. And then maybe pull down above it.
But within very quickly, that back room that I'm going to double is going to become the master bedroom. And so I'm just going to open up that wall, a walkthrough, and then we'll have like a queen or maybe a king size bed in there for Becky and I. And that's all it'll be, is basically a bed and a couple of really narrow nightstands or whatever.
Right.
Right. Oh, that's
yes.
Just having a place with the roof. That's why. Yeah. That's why.
Because I always stay in a hotel. Now I don't have to, right? For SRF, we'll stay in a hotel for a couple of nights, so we don't have to travel an extra 40 minutes. And, because when you're close, it's nice to be able to just kind of stay as late as you want and then leave. But other than that, now I've just eliminated a very expensive cost of staying in hotels when I go down there. Now I can stay on the property. And also, you have way more time now. So I'm not traveling back and forth. I'm there, go to bed, get up in the morning, So, and gives me a chance to test out some new gear too.
Yeah, love it. Oh, okay, so SRF stuff. Let's see. What were my burning questions? Did Wrangler Star show up?
No. I haven't had a chance to talk to anybody about it. I don't even, I just, as far as I understand, he confirmed, and then that's all I know.
Right. I'm just curious.
I was too. I actually seen a video tonight and I was like, shit.
Was there really rock and roll one night?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they were awesome. So
it was super cool.
Yeah, Sam's the lead singer of Slave to Servant, and we chatted for a while. They're like post-grunge. They're a post-grunge Christian band. And if you knew where I went to university from 99 to 03 to be a pastor. So they're like, him and I could have this like really deep conversation about all these obscure bands that nobody else would have a sweet fucking clue who they were. So anyway, I did he's coming on the show next week, and he's going to play a couple of songs live. We're going to do
awesome.
Yeah, we're going to call it Workshop Unplugged.
I just thought it was rolling. It sounded good on the little clip I heard. Just that.
Oh,
there was like, why are people kicking over chairs?
Yeah, it was cold, slightly rainy, and it had been a long, hard day for I think everybody.
Yeah. Sure. All right. So something for the spring. Is he going to come back in the spring?
I don't know. I hope so, because they had they debuted their album there. So it was a brand new. It's coming out in 2 weeks. That's why he's coming on the show. And but he had it there in vinyl, so of course I picked that up. And it was just it was what a cool guy. He used to have a podcast. I did a 15-minute interview. So I've been doing anyway. I'll run something else by you in a little bit.
A lot of content, didn't you?
I did. You guys, can I throw an idea at you and see what you think?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have been like since Thrivalist Fair in May in Washington. So that's when I sat down and go back.
The mom, right?
LFTN, yes. So
yeah.
I did an in-person interview with Nicole. I did one with John Pugliano. I did one with Paul Wheaton at Thrivalist Fair. And then I did like 10 or 12 at Prepper Camp, 3 at SRF, 2 at Midwest Preparedness. So anyway, I've got about 15 of them.
Wow.
Now, they're
Those
about 15
golden interviews.
They are. So here's where I'm going with this. And so I've been collecting them. And the idea all along was to make a really polished series. So like to kind of edit them down, cut out any dead space, give it a new intro, that kind of thing. That's all I was really thinking, but I was collecting them and didn't really know what to do. And then I know this is going to be hard to believe, but I was leaving my property the other day down there and I got talking to the neighbor for a lot longer than I was supposed to. But it was cool. I know, right? So just long enough that Sean Mills comes along to come pick up his stuff. So it was perfect timing that we happened to talk for 5 minutes. He says, dude, you need to put that shit behind a paywall. And I was like, so
yeah,
because that wasn't my plan. And I never really talked about it. But I've made a lot of connections with a lot of people. But these are in-person interviews. And he's like, he was saying like $40 for the year or something. So it would be 13, or you'd get a monthly interview plus behind the scenes.
$3 a month, 36.
Yeah, sure. I could live with that. I'm fine, And it would be a once a month interview that would be released, because I've never put content behind a paywall, never have. But
if you charged a paywall price for in-person live interviews, I bet very quickly you're jumping on planes with your gear.
Oh, I think this is going to do this already.
Joe Rogan does the opposite. You have to come to Joe.
Right.
Tim could be the exact opposite.
I'll come to you.
So this is really funny because it all came together all at once. And I hope nobody you know what? I'm sure there'll be a couple of people who'll be like,
must be nice. No.
Right. So I've been trying, because this is part of my vision is I want to travel around and go to all these events.
Yes.
But it does cost money. I know that's hard to believe. So
even if you're going to sell shit, you lose money. People don't get that.
Right.
It's like the vendors all lost money there. Probably.
Right. I sold $300 worth of stuff at Prepper Camp and $300 at SRF. That doesn't offset all your costs, right? So I'm not bitching about it.
She's an accountant.
No, and I don't think you are. I'm behind you 100%. I want to hear the rest of it, but just know I'm thinking the same thing as you going forward with stuff.
Okay. Yeah, because so that doesn't mean, I mean, here's the thing. This is going to be something above and beyond, that doesn't affect the podcast. It doesn't affect the YouTube channel. It doesn't even affect the new Delinquents Gully Chronicles, which, but so this I think is going to be something different because it's a lot of work to go find somebody, then make the connections to get them to agree to interview. And then, then I'm going to polish it up.
Push for you to find a video editor who's good. That'll work for peanuts in the beginning because you've got a trajectory now.
Yes. And that's
what someone that's working with a video AI editor that's good.
Well, that's what I'm trying because
quickly.
So I sent away. So you'll see the editing on the Delinquents Gully Chronicles. It's not great. It's just kind of, but it doesn't.
Oh, it was edited though. Did you see how jazzed I got when I saying note first thing this morning?
I was
level of up the chain.
Yes, and I was happy with that. The episodes are just kind of like, they're not like that. But I sent a bunch away to a guy on Fiverr, and for like $35, he'll take an hour's worth of content and turn it into 2 15-minute episodes, which is a good deal on its surface, but it wasn't great editing. Like it was just fucking
has to be great. It has to be awesome.
Right. And I know, okay, $35 is not a ton of money. I get it. So it's not like I was pissed over it or anything, but I could do it for 15 minutes worth of work. Right. So yeah, I would pay more for a good editor, I guess is what I'm getting at some point. So
yeah. Anybody's ears ringing out there?
Hunter says, what the heck? This is still a thing. Oh, I think he's talking about, yeah. So anyway, I think that's where it's going to end up going.
This is still a thing. It was never not a thing, Hunter.
Yeah, because I'm kind of getting into the same wavelength. Like this whole trip, blew my mind. And it put me on, I was talking to Brian about it on the wrap up we did on my show, where it's like a lot of this is all just numbers on a screen or on your phone or things like that. Like it's the comments are great, but again, there's no faces to it. It's writing on your phone.
Yeah.
So it's like when you guys have been telling me for a while now, they're like, you're killing it. Like you're doing something. And I am a pessimist and I just go, nah. When I had 150 different people over 3 days come up to me and some of them go, oh, I recognize your voice. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a thing. Got it. Okay. So then I came back. We had 23 hours to drive home and all I did was think the entire time.
Yes, brother.
And I'm like, oh no, okay, this is now a thing. Because the way I look at this content stuff now too is I didn't start it before I started my business. I had my business and then I was like, yeah, all right, we'll try this. And it went in 6 months. It went from I'm not going to do YouTube to doing a butchering demonstration at a festival in Tennessee.
Yep.
Boom. Because you said yes.
Oh, okay. This is something that I can grow with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I mentioned it in your chat the other day. I think we're going to try and look at trying to set up an LLC with an educational umbrella.
Yeah, dude.
Of doing demos at fairs and stuff like that. And it's I'm not going to make $1 million doing it, but if I can make money on something that I've already been doing for over a decade.
You know how fun it is to write off going to festivals? Because that's what you do.
Well, that's my other thought on it. But we were talking about it, and it's I want to come back to SRF for sure. But we definitely spent money we did not have to get.
I understand that. Yep.
And it's with this being our first one, I made a lot of connections that are going to help me in the future. Absolutely. But
yes, you can't do that 100 times in a row. I get it.
No.
But if you go down there with an intention to get some shit done and to what we were talking about before, to network, because everybody there has stuff and needs stuff. So why not interact with each other. Jesus.
How about do a butchery class?
Well, that's what I'm thinking now. Like,
Yep.
I talked to Chuck a little bit about like how his setup was at SRF. I want to talk to him more about it, but I've been talking to Jason from Kentucky Sustainable Living a bunch, and
Right.
I've been giving him a break just because the festival's this weekend. So I'm like, figure that out. But it's like he's like, no, I want you to come down next year at least once, and
Nice.
we'll figure something out, and like we'll get something going. To the
Shit,
farthest
you could
point
be
of going,
a
I look
live
in my backyard.
somebody's doing it live. They can get you on the like, hey, can I buy 15 minutes of your like tell me what this looks like to you? You know, like they could
Right.
save a deer or not. Like
I've told your story to like 3 people around town in the 4 days I've been home, just about how you were down there doing a live butcher demo, and they're like, that is the coolest thing ever. Oh, did he freeze? Oh no, he's just
yeah,
listening.
it's crazy. It's crazy. No, I'm still here.
Yeah,
I really just stayed there frozen to listen to what you guys said about me.
Yeah, it was cool. I can't remember who it was. Just yesterday I was talking to somebody about it again, and I was like, the dude just, he just showed up and fucking started cutting up a carcass and talked the whole time, and it was perfect. I think, like Rachel's comment there says, at least make enough money to cover your trip.
Exactly.
And so
that's the goal.
What do you think? Like, are we talking $1,000? Would that cover your trip, or would it need to be a little more than that?
It would probably need to be a little more.
Yeah,
like
couple maybe
for all
kids
of it.
and a wife.
Yeah. But I would try and sell tickets, but do it the way this was set up. It was a bit hairy. Like, I know you were in the periphery of some of the conversations that were going on and trying to figure it out, and a lot of that was because a lot of things happened in the lead up to that. I'm not going to get into all of it.
Yeah, no, but
communications, and this, that, and the other.
It was a shit show, and that's okay.
It was a shit show.
It's a festival. That's called.
But it was also my first festival ever, my first live demonstration ever across the country. So I'm like, I don't know how much, like, I'll cut up a pig anywhere. I don't really care. I don't know how much I want to be fully liable if this goes bad, kind of thing. And we got it figured out, and it is what it is. But now that I've done it, and now that I've made a bunch of connections in Tennessee, now that I know that there are certain people who know who I am and want me, like, coming to these things and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, got it. Now I have a, like, stable footing to go, okay, I'm going to do this, that, and the other thing, and get everything set up. And what I want to do next year is do a paid class and have it be slaughter one day, cut one day, cut and pack one day. So you see me do everything.
That would be nice.
So we'll see. And I mean, it's tough doing it at a live festival where there is already a bunch of people, because it's obviously that's not going to happen in the garage, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. Like,
it's the beauty of like a music fest with 4 or 5 stages, right?
Right.
It's like Kyle plays on stage 2 at 10 to 2 daily. Right, you got 3 steps.
Exactly.
Well, it was the number of people that came and watched. I think I just kept talking out of fear for like the middle part. They're like the beginning part there, because I'm just like, oh boy, and like. Then I was just like, I made the joke. I made the joke in the beginning of the demo. I was like, welcome to my first live YouTube video. Because it's like, that's the only thing I could compare it to in my head. It's just like, I just talk. I had my camera there set up anyway. I'm like, I'm just talking to the camera and there are people here. But like, also, then I got comfortable and I'm like, there are sections where it's like, I've said all I can say about this pork chop. There's nothing more I can say, but I still have X number of minutes to do what I'm doing. Who's got a question? Ask them. I don't care. Like, whatever question you want, like, I'll answer it.
You could, here's another thing I'm thinking out loud. Of course, this is where all these great ideas come from, but
of course,
you could do this kind of thing, live stream behind a paywall as well.
Yeah.
So, pay for access. So you could either be like, hey, we're going to cut down an entire cow today. You've already got a cow you got to cut down. But guess what? It's going to take you an extra 2 hours because you're going to do it live for people who are going to watch. Then they're going to ask you, hey, that piece there, why'd you do that? And you're going to explain it, but you're going to make money off it too.
Well, that's the interesting thing, and something I'm going to be experimenting with soon if I don't get kicked off, is I'm about to hit 1,000 subscribers on TikTok, which again, also insane. I've been on TikTok for about 2 months, and I'm like, wow, all right, we're getting there. But once I hit 1,000, I can start going live, and I'm just going to set up on the bench.
I'm going to say something that a lot of people in our space might not like. Do your damnedest not to get kicked off, Kyle.
I know.
Because people can fucking preach alternative platforms all they want, but right now they're not going to put money in your fucking pocket.
No,
and that's the problem. They're there, and I will always be there, and I will support them. But if you want to make money doing it, you've got to be on the major platforms, at least for now, until you build a community big enough that you can slide it off, or you build the community big enough that they'll support you. It doesn't mean I'm in favor of those platforms. It means I'm a business person and I'll go where the money is. So just do what you can. I'm not saying self-censor, but
I'm trying to do a very good job. And I make it also very public on TikTok, where it's like, I'll post things where it's like, when whatever, because I know the guidelines. I have looked at them. I have figured it out by stepping on landmines here and there. So I will do the darkest shit possible with the silliest caption or whatever to make it slide, as long as it makes it. But yeah, like if I can set up my iPad on Wi-Fi and just cut a beef or cut a pig like on the bench and just have like my phone near me where I can answer some questions, or just very like play hard to get and just be like, hey, listen, I'm not talking. Like, I'm working. If you want to watch me work, go for it.
Dude, have you seen the shit that people stream on TikTok?
Dude, it makes me it's what gives me confidence that I've risen this quick on TikTok, because I'm like, if these shitheads can do it.
Becky wants to know constantly. There's this one woman that has a friggin' whisk and another tool, and she just like dances around with them. Yeah. It's not sexual. I don't know what it is. And people just constantly tip her. There
is a person on my I don't know how they got into my algorithm of stream. I do not follow them, but they are always there. And it's some vegan who's 100% on meth. There is absolutely 0% chance she is not on meth. And she dresses like an early 2000s white rapper, like white tank top with like it's terrifying. And she will either be in front of a whiteboard writing people's names down inside cat faces, or just having a meth episode in front of a Chipotle. Like, I don't understand. And she's live every day.
And a lot of viewers?
Thousands. I'm like, I can actually give you content that could save your life or put food on your children's table. But you're going to go ahead and give her $5 because you're high as shit. And that's hysterical. Like,
But what that tells me is that there's an audience for everything.
There is.
And when you find your audience, anyway, that when you were talking about leaving SRF and you had the 23-hour drive, in my mind, there is no better creative period than the drive home after an event.
I will say that creative mind made me miss 2 exits and it added another 2 hours to our trip, but we're fine.
It happens. I listened to Arnold Schwarzenegger's book, Be Useful. It's only about maybe 6 or 7 hours long. It's awesome if you're looking for a kick in the ass. So I was listening to that. So I would get 3 or 4 hours of driving in the mornings while Becky was asleep. So I'd listen to that book and she would sleep and I would drive and I would just write notes in my notepad. Yeah, on my phone as I would drive. It was great. I come home with this kind of vision of a few things that don't necessarily need to change, but are going to get better, or kind of doubling down on stuff, Well, I got to let my cat out.
Yeah, no worries. And I'm just even thinking about the level of videos I'm putting out now. I just filmed the first video of a series today, and I need to talk to Joe Blakesley about coming on the podcast this weekend. But I'm doing a cut sheet series.
Oh,
like breaking down cut sheets for people. And because, like I say it in the beginning of the video, cut sheets are not for the customer. They're absolutely not. They are for the butcher. And there are butcher shops that will cater somewhat to making them customer friendly. But at the end of the day, the cut sheet is for whoever is cutting up the animal to very easily go, yeah, that's what they want. Okay, cool. And nobody tells anyone this. Like, nobody tells any of these people that it's like, yeah, just fill this out. It's Latin. It might as well be Latin. If it is your first time buying an animal,
oh yeah,
from a butcher, you have no idea.
I went in.
Like, I did a pig breakdown today. I didn't even take a knife to this pig. I hung it. I held up my cut sheet and I went through my cut sheet line for line and pointed out where everything is and what you're going to get. But on top of it, I framed it in a way that the entire time I'm going to be posting pictures that I have taken of all of the different cuts, like where they come from on the animal as I talk about it. So it's like I look at how much editing there's going to be involved with that. And I'm like, but I'm also like, that is what people want. Like, that's what people need. That's a question that people have.
So, you know what's cool about that is I think that's something that people need to know that they don't even know
they don't know. They know. I say that in it. It's like, you don't know this.
Because the first time I went in, I ordered a quarter of beef, front quarter, whatever. And then after that, I went to a side. Well, the first time I went in, they're like, well, how do you want it? And I'm like, well, packaged,
Right. Yeah.
Because I didn't know. And and then of course it's like, well, do you want rib bones? How thick do you want your steaks? What steaks do you want? How much hamburger in a package? All of this stuff.
It turns into an 8th grade pop quiz that you didn't study for.
Right. And your answers are all wrong the first time. But
absolutely.
You get better. But here's the thing. If you titled that video, something like shit you need to know before you buy your first side of beef, that's what's going to haul people in. That you know what I mean? As opposed to here's a cut sheet, what do you want to call it? Like cut sheet breakdown for a butcher. Well, that's not sexy. That doesn't, but yeah, like the shit you need to know before you buy your first side of beef or whatever.
Right.
That would,
just so you know, I am stealing that because that's
how to talk to a rancher. Yeah. Things you need to know before you talk to a rancher or something, or before you buy.
Well, because it's like the video's coming out this weekend. So I even say it in there. It's like, it's also on the producer. If you're a producer raising pork that's going to a butcher, like a third party from the person actually buying it, it's on them too. Like, it's on a producer as well. Because once you filled out like 4 cut sheets make sense. Right. Like, it's just, you got it. You know what you got because you've gotten everything and you understand it. So it's on the producers as well. It's on the producers to walk through cut sheets with their customers, especially if it's a third party thing. Okay, they should not be expected to just go, I want that, and then they just get crap back because they
want to cry as a butcher. Okay, I live with an Italian cook, so my conversation with our grass-fed guy goes like this:
oh no,
steaks, roasts, everything else, grind it. She's like fucking meatballs,
dude. You know what? I'm worse than that.
It's so easy.
Oh, like, no, Tim. Oh no.
We're just fucking steaks and burger, dude.
And that's
we don't do roast. Every single roast gets cut up into steak, and anything left is burger. And
the other video I'm doing that I need to edit tonight, which I guarantee you is probably not going to happen, but it needs to get edited tonight, is I broke down my half of beef. So I cut up my beef for my freezer. So I did a butcher's cut sheet of what I put in my freezer. Like, because some of it's different, some of it's not. But other stuff is like, I'm not going to take my time to do this on a customer's beef who's not going to appreciate it or understand it.
Right.
And hey, I've looked at this piece of meat 10,000 times. I bet I could do something cool with this. So I'm like, all right, let's try it. So like, I did beef bacon. I peeled off the whole short rib and rolled it and tied it, and I'm going to brine it and smoke it. We're going to see what happens because why not? I can.
Now this was pork bacon, but I had bacon at Midwest Preparedness that they used was celery salt as opposed to regular nitrates, and it was so good.
Yeah,
that was Crunchy Mama
one of the bigger
Farms.
ones now.
Yeah. What's that?
That's one of the bigger ones now on the market for like the no nitrates and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was tasty, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The right salt.
Yeah, I've moved from, because before I went to SRF, I was like, I just kind of film what I'm doing. I put it on the internet. And now I'm going, no, I'm doing a series now on this. Like
series is so awesome.
Like in my Butcher Breakdown, I'm like, I do very little cutting in the actual like Butcher Breakdown. I do a little bit on some of like the specialty cuts, but a lot of it is, here's the primal. This is what I'm getting here. This is what I'm getting here. I'm going to try this. We're going to see what happens. Turn off the camera, cut everything, lay everything out, and go, okay, this is what I did. These are the parts, and I don't put those on camera, Hunter. That's for the paywall. But yeah, no. So it's like I'm shifting my content a little bit as well to try something new.
It'll never stop. It never stops. But the cool thing is, every time you change things up a little bit, yeah, it's exactly it, Brian. And you know what? It's like a swing back and forth, but it's a swing up as well. Yep. So each time you take, because even if whatever you try falls flat on your face, you now know one more thing you don't have to do, and you've learned how to edit better. Everything, always, right?
Well, it was like leaving SRF, I felt validated.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this hasn't been a complete, like, I'm not going to say waste of time, because it's not. It's fun. I enjoy it. But it's like, people are seeing this. I was talking about this to Brian on my show, and I didn't say it right. And I finally came up with the way to say it. Basically, what I said was, as a butcher leaving SRF, doing a butchering demonstration, putting out all this content and stuff like that, I said it was like the highest like achievement for me, like personally and emotionally kind of thing. And I was reminded of a conversation I had with somebody where it was like, I don't want to be a millionaire and not work and just whatever. I mean, granted, I would love to be a millionaire, but like, I'm not just going to sit on a beach somewhere and do whatever. Right. My goal has always been to be the guy. So it's
fucking right.
No one needs to know my name at all. If I am the person that 3 customers down have used a bunch and they go, I have a guy. That is what I've always wanted to be. I have always wanted to be busy enough and my quality be good enough that by just, I know a guy, he'll take care of you. That's all I've wanted. And leaving SRF, I was like, wow. And then it hit me because people were like, hey, you're that guy. And I'm like, oh shit.
I got to see it in you this time. I was like, because you only get your first SRF. I mean, there's nothing better in our community than SRF. There's all kinds of other events and they're all great, but there's something about SRF.
One next year.
What's that?
We will be at least one next year. We'll figure it out.
But the first one is awesome because it blows you away. You're like, holy shit. People listen to me. People want to talk to me. People want my opinion on this shit. It's like, fuck.
Learning, eating. It's the best shit ever.
So we had you were at the end of your interview with Joel Salatin, and I very nervously walked up and met him being pushed by Brian. And we were leaving, and we weren't going to see you again because we were leaving the next morning. And you gave me a hug, and you whispered in my ear, I am so fucking proud of you.
Well,
and
I am.
I know, and I appreciate it. But with the emotional roller coaster of just meeting Joel Salatin and then being like, hey, man, we'll see you later. And you're just like, I am so fucking proud of you. You did fucking great this weekend. I walked back, and my hands were just like this. I was like, I don't know what's happening. We need to get out of here. Like... Because it means a ton.
We're getting heckled now. Jesus Christ.
Oh, I'm sure we are.
It's time for dinner. Let's go get some food.
Sounds good. Yeah.
What's around? Kyle, Tim, and I'll wrap us. Yeah, shit. We gotta.
Well, this was. I don't know what this was, but
the after party.
It's the after party.
Backwoods bar.
Well, at least I got to put my idea out in the ether about the paywall content, and you didn't boo me down completely.
No,
so.
I don't. I think
comments were positive on the comments.
Yeah, I think for someone at your level, it's warranted at this point. Like if I came out and was like, I think I'm going to start a Patreon right now, I'd be like, I don't think I'm there yet. Like,
does Toolman Tim come up when you're searching internet?
Oh yeah,
before the video Tim Allen shit now.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
saw it awesome.
Good, good. I was like, I knew that would be a benchmark, right?
Because when that happened, because when people ask me, how do you find me now? I'm like, just put Toolman Tim into YouTube and I come up. And they're like, really? I'm like,
I used to say it to people all the time and they would all come back like, I can't find Toolman Tim. Like, good. Now it's like,
it's
no,
there. I mean, his shit's still coming up some, but it was cool.
My algorithm on TikTok is catching up to my area. So now I have people that will come up to me and go, I saw you on TikTok. I was like, thanks. It's a little creepy.
It's cool. I love it, man.
Yeah. Rachel's giving Pip hell. Good. All right, we got this fight in the comments. Yeah. That's
John Willis gave Pip shit last night because Pip made some. Pip, I'm sorry if you don't want this told, but I'm telling it because it was super funny because I caught it live.
What the duck?
Pip made ducks for John and Amanda. And ran up and gave them to Amanda like on Sunday, like so they were able to get them. So I've started watching John's lives, and like getting involved with the chat and stuff like that, trying to kind of spread myself out a little more
every night.
And I'm watching and I'm editing something, and I just hear on the TV because I have it on the TV. What the fuck is this? A duck? And I'm like. And then he realizes it was from Pip, and he goes, "This piece of shit didn't even introduce himself. What are you, fucking retarded?" I was crying. It was so funny. Pip, I love you so much. And it wasn't a like anger, like fuck this guy. It was like, no, we had talked a lot online and tried to figure something out. He didn't come introduce himself.
So Pippin. You have got a fucking gold mine with those ducks.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even care. Like the fact that you don't know how many people stopped at that goddamn booth and they're like, I just got to ask, what's up with the ducks?
Oh,
and I'm like, that's all it is. You just put a bunch of ducks out. People fucking stop by and they're like, they just want to know. You know, it's the crazy. Dude, keep it up. Whatever. Yeah, I don't even get it. I don't get the ducks, but I know you can make money at it, and I'm proud of you.
Yeah. And it was just it caught. I was not expecting it. It was like because it's his lives over here are at like 10 o'clock.
Right.
So I'm like half listening and in the chat and whatever. I know that guy.
Oh shit!
That's probably a good story to end this on.
Yeah. Hey, anybody that's on the side over here, if you haven't subscribed to all of our YouTubes, well, come on, really?
Yes, please. At Butcher 603 on everything.
Yes, he had a video of Britney Spears dancing with knives.
Dude, that was so fun. I was so happy I was able to make that one work.
That was great.
I was
you need a little more
great video.
Music.
What was that?
You need more music in that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I was strobe light, but don't cut your thing off.
Yeah. No, it was I'm getting scary good at TikToks.
Yeah, you are
figuring out the tricks, and I'm like,
trends are where it's at. All I can 100%. If you can't, I mean, okay, some people can live off trends, but you're not going to build anyway. On YouTube, you won't build a community on trends, but you can definitely bring a lot of eyeballs to yourself, and that's why I did those two. The videos. The cheap Amazon knockoff. Temu. I did the Temu videos, prepping gear hauls from Temu, and that brought in. That first video still gets 200 views every 2 days. Yeah. So it's a good video, but trends on TikTok, dude, that is where it's at, and you're kicking ass.
I think I gained because I think I'm not gonna pull it up because I'm gonna start screaming at me. But last time I looked, I was at 880 or something close to that, and I was at 700 I was at under 700 on Friday.
We'll get you there.
We'll put them over. Come on.
We'll share it over in not everybody's but I'll share it in the Telegram group again tonight.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. No, so we're figuring it out. Again, it's just dark, very dark humor.
And what is your handle
my
on
kids.
TikTok?
Huh?
Your handle, or what do they call it?
At Backwoods Butcher 603.
Okay.
603. Oh yeah.
I try to balance it out. I just put one up of my daughter just sitting in the pig pen. She just sat down and they all just flooded her. And I'm like, all right, well, I can't not post this.
And I'm gonna plug my latest series that's coming up on Friday. It starts. It's called Delinquents Gully Chronicles, and it is the vlog. I've never done a vlog before, but it's kind of the vlog of what we're doing on our property in Tennessee. I'm pretty excited about it. It has the potential to be big. We'll see. I don't want to be. No, fuck it. It's going to be big. So we're going to hear it.
It's a great story, and
it is a cool story, and so some of it's going to be more
intention.
Yeah, what's that?
Session 1 is kind of, I think of it as your intention. You're like, here's my intention, and then now we're going to get to see it come together.
It is, yeah. Anyway. It's going to be.
We're also all going to promote it. Like,
absolutely. So that's what I was going to say for everybody out there. Friday, 9 a.m. Mountain Time is when the first video lands. So share the link everywhere.
Right away.
Get it out there. And yeah.
Let's plan a sneak attack. All the beats.
It'll be good. We'll see what happens. But I'm kind of excited.
9 a.m. right when Jack goes live. Go pump Tim's video out. Share.
Hell yeah.
It's that easy. If you need coffee or Sensei services, foodforcefarms.com. All right.
I love you so much. I love this man.
See you guys. Peace out. Don't smoke too much. Keep the car.